to end a 6-match losing streak. Well, Halifax's victory at Lee last week, preceded by a win against Sheffield, has moved them up to 7th in the table. Still some work to do, though, if they're to make the top 6. Hunslet Hawks, newly promoted, of course, are just fighting to survive in 8th place at the moment. Well, Halifax, not surprisingly, keep faith with most of the players who took them to victory against Lee last week. Certainly in the back division, where you have Miles Greenwood at full-back, then it's Paul White, Lee Patterson, Dylan Nash, Rob Warrensey, Danny Jones and Ben Black. In the forwards, Jim Gannon, who captains the side, Bob Bezic, Neil Cherry-Holmes starts this evening, Stephen Bannister, Sam Barlow and Jacob Fairbank is also promoted from the bench for Halifax. And on the bench, Michaeli Izu, Paul Smith, Anthony Bowman, first appearance of the season for the highly rated youngster, and Gil Dudson, the player they took in last week, dual registered with the Crusaders. The coach is Matt Calland. And then Hunslet Hawks turning round after a bruising game against Batley just last weekend, just 4 days to prepare for this. They have lost players through injury. Rob Kelly is out. James Houston as well, unavailable. Stuart Kane is at fullback. Then it's Wayne Price. Richie Barnett is fit to return. Dave Clayton, Dennis Twofor, Danny Grimshaw and Danny Ratcliffe. In the forwards, Adam Sullivan, Luke Haig, Joe Helm, John Oakes, Tom Hockey, and at loose forward, captaining the side, David March. But there was a major doubt about David March's participation this evening. On the bench, Paul March, Neil Lowe, Andrew Yates and Chris Hall, and the coach he gets everywhere, it's the player coach, Paul March. Well, Halifax going into this game in confident mood, their supporters likewise hoping that they have turned the corner. Miserable start to the campaign, lost their opening 5 games and looked more like relegation candidates than champions, but a win against Sheffield and then that emphatic victory over the previously unbeaten Lee Centurions has put a spring in the step of the Halifax supporters, and probably in the step of the team as well, that they can still make the playoffs and mount a challenge this season. For Hunslet Hawks, it's all about survival really, and it's proving after a pretty good start. Of course, they opened up with a win against Widnes. They beat Toulouse as well, they've beaten York, but it's turning out, Barry, to be a tougher prospect for the Hawks.
Yeah, Hunslet last year won 18 of 20 games so far. They haven't managed to find anything like that form. Last week, they were defeated narrowly by Batley, and the week before, 70 points past them by Sheffield. Halifax, however, they destroyed the league leaders Lee, and themselves, Lee Centurions, on a 10-match unbeaten run. And the defence that they put in, so structured, so organised, and a fantastic attitude to working for each other.
Clint Sharrett is the referee in charge this evening, ready to get us underway. Paul March saying ahead of the week, don't write us off. Okay, we're struggling at the moment, we're in a poor run of form, but we're a tough side with some committed competitors, and none more so than the March twins, Paul and David. David starting, Paul on the bench. Be interesting though to see how long or whether David can get through this game, because he has not been able to train the Hunslet loose forward. He's got a hip problem, but he's declared himself fit. It's Hunslet in possession from the kickoff.
Well, Clint Sharrett straight away said to Jim Gannon, you're going to be fed up of listening to me tonight. He does talk to the players, he builds a good rapport with them, and Hunslet really do need to dictate the speed of this game. They can't let Halifax run away with it, and when they are defending against them, because defence has been a problem over recent weeks, conceding 304 points in 6 games, they really do need to make that play the ball as messy as they can for Halifax.
Here is Tom Hockey, one of several very experienced players in this Hunslet side. That's the 5th tackle. And the ball with Ratcliffe, who gets the kick away despite the pressure, but only as far as Greenwood. Not the best kick, but it's a good chase nevertheless from Hunslet.
Well, this was the most impressive part of Halifax's game. The back 3 were superb. Warrensey, Paul White and Miles Greenwood, who received the kick-off. The good work from the back 3 needs to be allied by some good, tough, hard runs in the middle by the big fellas.
Halifax starting as they did against Lee with the speedsters, Greenwood, Warrensey buzzing around early on. Of course, there's no Sean Penkovic for Matt Calland. Penkovic out with a broken toe, and that is a big loss. It means a lot of work on the shoulders of Bob Bezic, but also that the likes of Greenwood, Paul White, are going to have to do their share of work. There's another one of the really experienced campaigners, Wayne Price, former England man, once of Featherstone, Castleford, Wakefield. So there's bags of experience in this Hunslet side.
Well, both coaches will be happy with the start, both completing the sets, both getting decent kicks away, getting over the halfway line with good carries, just simple plays, just feeling this game out. You can see the structure, that's exactly what this Hunslet side want. They need good shape, they need good honesty, they need push around that ball if they're going to trouble this Halifax defence.
You got some push there from John Oakes, that was for sure. I suppose Halifax's, or Hunslet's task is to try and take the steam out of the Halifax attack. Brian Noble still involved here on his consultancy mission. Oh, and then the little fumble. It went backwards, says the referee. Extraordinary.
Well, Paul White gave himself up, then he thought that was a knock on himself. And Clint Sharrod, you could hear the call that that's okay. Surely that was a knock on. They've been hard done to the Hunslet. But you know what, when things go against you like that, it's what your reaction's like. And clearly has gone forward.
He put the brakes on, waiting for the whistle. It never came, and then just to pour salt into the wound, they get the penalty awarded against them, Hunslet.
And that's what I talk about. But what's your reaction when you know that there's been a mistake? What's your reaction like in that next set of 6 to defend? And the referee giving the penalty away. Hunslet, I don't know, a couple of unlucky calls early on in this game.
Not square, presumably ahead of that particular incident was the call, but if Halifax score here, then Hunslet can point to the start of it all, when the ball was seemingly knocked on right on the Halifax line. Here's Cherryholme, and they gave him too much room to move there. He was able to build up a head of steam, Cherryholme was. Bezic, here's Black now, this is ominous. Jones, it's with Paul White now. Greenwood's pass finds White coming in off his wing. 4 tackles gone. Bezic goes for it on his own and doesn't get there. Almost did, he's held up.
Really intelligent player, Bob Bezic. Was by far the best player on the pitch last week. He had a number of options available to him. Halifax get the ball back again.
Jones finds Black. Black stabs the grubber kick in. Oh, and they're going to get another set of 6 here, Halifax, because Dennis Tufo can't get out of jail.
Well, they looked up Tufo then, and is confronted with a Halifax line. Ben Black just turning the screw. Stuart Kane knocking that ball backwards, but he just had nowhere to go on that occasion, Tufo.
That's the type of composure Halifax haven't played with too many times. The couple of years we've been watching them, looking for the 3rd consecutive grand final now.
Here is Jim Gannon, be 34 years of age next week, but he never stops digging in. Danny Jones. Little step from Bannister. Bannister back on the inside to Jones. 3 tackles gone. Hunslet under pressure. Here is Bezic. Gannon. Gannon. Eyes lit up then as, again, the Hunslet defence just stood back and watched in amazement, in admiration. Black. Sam Barlow now. Barlow, great offload. Got the ball away nicely to Jacob Fairbank. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence so far from Hunslet. Can they see this set of 6 out? Another kick coming their way, or is it? Will they run it? They're going to run it. Ball over the top is a lovely one. Then it goes to ground. That's surely a knock-on.
Okay, no advantage. Hand over there, leave the
The
ball
knock-on
go.
from Halifax.
Whenever you're ready,
Few
go.
speculators in there, but you have to say Hunslet in defence, very determined, very resolute. You shall not pass was the call from the Hunslet Hawks.
Move 90.
Here we see over the head, just can't regather it, and Lee Patterson just loses control of it. Halifax now, how much energy have they had? They've had probably 3.5 minutes of the 5 or 6 we've been playing. They've been defending.
Well, Hunslet won't travel with any trepidation. They have played well away from home. In fact, 2 of their 3 wins this season have come away from home, including that victory at Widnes. There's a knock-on. Joe Helm under pressure.
Well, he's come up with a couple of decent runs, Joe Helm, but it's a loose carry. You can hear the referee saying you've got responsibility to control that ball when you get up. He's appealing to the referee that it's been stolen. There's Paul March, the player coach on the bench. He's just biding his time before he gets on him. I'm sure will make a big impact.
Here's Danny Jones now. Patterson.
Move Dave back here for. Hold.
Hockey in to make the tackle. Cherry home now.
2. Move Dave.
Was on the bench last week for the game against Lee, but promoted to the starting lineup this evening. Greenwood backtracking under pressure from Grimshaw. Here goes Warrency. 2 tries to his name against Lee last weekend, and as well as the pace, he's got some strength as the winger. Bezic. Here is Ben Black. They've got options out wide here. They came inside with Bannister and they bombed another chance. Play on, says the referee. We'll see what happens. And Stuart Kane picks the ball up and makes some ground.
That was a real shame. Bob Bezic with a 20-metre pass. And Halifax looking for that next player. They're looking for that close support that just not quite there. Ben Black, short ball to Bannister, who has the ball out in front of him but just can't keep control.
3. Move set. Go.
Well, that's the side of Halifax that we've grown accustomed to, the slightly cavalier approach that can come off, and when it comes off, it's spectacular. When it doesn't come off, then the wheels start to come off. Here's Adam Sullivan.
Here, go.
That's the 5th tackle as he plays the ball.
Give him 10. Give him 10.
The kick is straight in the arms of Warrency. It wasn't the best from Ratcliffe, and then Warrency finds Greenwood trying to put the step on the Hawks.
It was good kick pressure again. Just doing all the little things correct. If you pressure the kicker without going for the charge down, great run from Paul White, and that's the reward that you get for kick pressure.
And Warrency trying to continue the momentum here up the middle of the field. Helm comes back to get a hold of him somehow. Bezic, Jones, you sense it might just be a matter of time before the dam bursts here.
Well, the majority of the times that Halifax are attacking, it's on their left. They look skinny on the right edge, Hunslet.
Here is Black now. Black steps inside, gets the pass away to Fairbank, and Fairbank does get the first try of the night. The 21-year-old Jacob Fairbank, another of the last week's subs who was promoted to the starting lineup. And relentless pressure really from the word go from Halifax. Probing out wide, but eventually the breakthrough coming right up the middle, and it was young Jacob Fairbank who got over the try line.
And this coming off the back of 3 spectacular dummy half runs, 20 metres, quick play of the ball. The defensive line of Hunslet just can't get back in time. And Warrency, even though he's riding a couple of tackles, still gets taken to ground. But watch this, I get more impressed with this young Fairbank every time I see him. Jacob Fairbank, son of Mark Fairbank from the Fairbank clan. That's a brave run. When you're taking an inside ball, you know that defenders, by hook or by crook, are going to be there and in your face, and he catches that ball and manages to ground it. First try, Halifax.
And first try of the season for Jacob Fairbank. And Danny Jones, who's assumed the goal-kicking duties here at Halifax since returning from Keighley, was a Halifax Academy player before going off to play for the Cougars, and has displaced Lee Patterson as the regular goal kicker. Patterson, really prolific goal kicker, 143 last year, but can't get a look in this season because of Danny Jones's form. There's 2 points. 6-0, Halifax leads.
They're looking total control, Halifax. Jacob Fairbank, man who scored this try, but just watch, look at the step from Ben Black. He just gets the forwards going sideways. Jacob Fairbank, it's a one-on-one with David March, and David March could not stop him going over for the try.
Just an interesting one on Paul March. I wonder when he's going to come in. I wonder how he came to the decision that he was going to drop himself. Who did he consult with that one?
His brother.
Gannon is upended. Good tackle by Sullivan. White, again, real pace. There is Paul March on the sidelines. Paul March, incidentally, just started a short testimonial, been awarded by the Rugby League for services to the game. Just 3 months, but he's cramming it all in. A golf day coming up on July the 4th at near Bradford, and Facebook page up and active if you want to contribute or help out Paul March's testimonial.
Well, that's the difference with Halifax. We all know that they can score tries, but defence has never been first on the agenda. But from the kick-off, they wanted to kick that ball on the second play and try and put pressure on Hunslet down the other end of the park. But a good set from Hunslet, again over halfway.
Here's Sullivan. A good run from him. That's the 5th tackle. David March chips the kick in. Play on, says the referee. So White's going to have to try and get out of trouble, and he does just manage to do that. Here's Greenwood now.
Well, Hunslet needed to put more pressure on White. When he gets this ball, White needed, Wayne Price, needed to be up, forcing White into making a decision or even taking the ball dead. There was no pressure really applied to White then.
Here's Sam Barlow now, big favourite with the Halifax supporters. Barlow. Ben Black. Black managed to get the pass away somehow there to Warren C. Warren C. wrestling with him.
Still not going down.
Referee calls held. Helm and Sullivan really having a job to put Warren C. down. Then the kick reaches Wayne Price on the bounce. But the chase is good.
It's a fantastic chase. You feel that every time Halifax put a kick in, they're challenging Hunslet to come away. It isn't just a case of getting to the end of the set and putting a kick in. For Halifax, it's part of their ethos and their ethic now. They want to kick the ball and just get stuck into these Hunslet attackers.
Here's Dennis 2-4 in possession. On loan at the Hawks at the moment. 4 tackles gone. That was a good run from Joe Helm. And Grimshaw ducked under the 1st tackle. That's the 5th. And it's with Ratcliffe now. Now then, can he give this one a bit of height? He does. Cross field as well. Put Paul White under a bit of pressure. Oh, it's going to come up for the Hawks. It's come off, though. A Hunslet player very nearly came off for them, because Paul White wasn't that secure under that one.
I think Clint Sharrod is saying that, yeah, there's the knock-on.
It comes off Dave Clayton, the centre for Hunslet. He just couldn't take that ball in.
Here's the try scorer, Jacob Fairbank.
Lovely footwork, falls on his front. Nice play of the ball. That's good work, that.
Jim Gannon. Look at the referee about that tackle. Oh, Sullivan felt that. Helm again, making his presence felt, Joe Helm.
Well, that's what they need. Don't stand
Cherry Holmes struggling, actually. Sorry, Terry, but blood pouring from a gash on his head, and the referee has seen that.
Well, Joe Helm, when he's had the ball, he's been full on. He's been ramping up and running as hard as he can.
He's bent over as well, Joe Helm. Just watch, is it ahead? Yeah, yep. There it is. Head clash. Whooshka.
Right, guys, we've got 5 in last here.
He looks like he might have caught a bang as well, Joe Helm.
So Cherry Holm leaves the field for some treatment, and Joe Helm's got a bang on the chin by the look of things. He's going to presumably stay out there. I think he's, in fact, that's going to need some treatment as well.
Right, guys, 5 in last.
Here he comes off. I think Gil Dudson is the man who's come on for Halifax.
No 40.
And is it Chris Hall that's come on for Hunslet? No, Andy Yates.
He played it there, that's okay.
Oh, 2-4, allowing that ball to bounce. It's nearly 2-4-6 points if he lets that ball bounce and a Halifax player picks it up.
2, move, Dylan.
Oh, catch it on the full.
Here goes Richie Barnett back in the Hawks lineup. Now Dennis 2-4.
Well, he's missed the last 5 games, Richie Barnett, and I can only remember him playing centre on one occasion. So I thought he would have attacked him down this right edge for Halifax. But they've got some dangerous players, the likes of Ben Black. This is his most favoured side.
Here go Halifax, Hunslet. Can they find a way through this Halifax defence? Well, maybe here. That was a great ball from David March. Now here's Danny Ratcliffe. That's the 5th, though. Going down the short side. Good step from Dave Clayton. And then the pass, though, couldn't find one of his teammates. So good work, though, from Clayton.
Well, the balance of Clayton then to beat a couple of players, that's what they want. They just need some quick play the balls. Whenever David March seems to have the ball, that something normally happens.
Well, we saw Neil Cherryhome come off and Joe Helm, so already things busy on the touchline, which is where Rod Studd is this evening.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, Neil Cherryhome in a bit of a mess, to be honest. It looked like being ringside at prize fighter. That cut is not just a little nick at all. It's pretty wide. It's probably about a quarter of an inch wide and a couple of inches long. It's a horrible cut, and that'll take some stitching up. He's come out the worst of it, no question about that, and that's going to take some work for the Halifax doctor.
That's it.
Joe Helm must have a tough chin.
That kick is a great one, right into the corner, pinning Wayne Price, and then chases to greet him as well.
It's a difficult place to get out of. Need to roll your sleeves up. Who's prepared from the Hunslet side to get some valuable meters, to get some momentum? That play, the ball's too slow. The next runner, he's got an attacking defensive line in front of him as well.
3 tackles gone, and they're still inside their own 30, are the Hunslet Hawks. Lost their last 6 in League and Cup, the Hawks, so they really are on a tricky run. And they don't want to get sucked down into the relegation zone below them.
Release, Jim. Hold. Go.
That's the 5th tackle, and it needs to be a good kick from Ratcliffe. In the end, it's going to drop comfortably. Well, not so comfortably for Warrensey, who finds himself virtually on his own try line. If he'd gone from that for that right from the off, it might have been a lot easier.
Well, Rob Warrensey has probably cost his team 30 metres there. Look at the defence. The Hunslet players pushing him back, but Dylan Nash on the break.
And Nash trying to get the pass away to Ben Black. 2-4 stopped his progress. Here is Warrensey now.
Well, Warrensey knows that he come up with a mistake and cost his side an awful lot of metres by letting that ball bounce. They're very fortunate now that they're attacking in Hunslet's half on the second play.
Barlow gets the ball away to Bezic. Bezic, support on the inside from Greenwood. It went forward, said the referee. He'll bring him back. Bezic is down on the ground, holds his hand up in the end.
Well, that's what Halifax are good at. The offloads, the footwork, yeah, that's forward. Unfortunately for Bob Bezic, the footwork, here's the bomb that wasn't caught on the full, and then superb defence from the Hunslet Hawks. They prevent him from going down, drive him back, and were it not for this 50-50 Hail Mary offload, could have been a lot worse for Halifax.
Come on, get it right.
Head and feed to the Hunslet Hawks.
It's out.
Eventually that ball comes out the scrum, but
Surrender.
that could have
Stand up. One,
turned awkward. Here's Yates,
2.
former St Helens Academy youngster Andy Yates, who was spotted by Nick Fozzard earlier in his career and suggested Saints have a look at him. Here's somebody at the other end of the scale, Tom Hockey,
Hold. No, Tommy.
the Hofmeister, as the Hunslet Hawks supporters call Tom Hockey.
There's another one of the elder statesmen.
Move, Sam.
Neil Law giving this club great service. He's come on to try and get some go forward.
Well, here's Richie Barnett. That's the 5th tackle.
Back here, Sam. Go.
Hunslet yet really to test this Halifax defence. There's another hanging kick. This time White is underneath it. That one almost slithered through his grasp.
Well, they nearly lost that. But Hunslet, you're right, Bill, they do need to ask more questions when they have the ball. They're not taking the ball enough to the line. Here you can see, oh, just a little fumble. And he managed to retain that ball. Paul White, the back 3 for Halifax are doing a fantastic job in Miles Greenwood, Paul White and Rob Warrensey. And just look at the yards that they're making for their side. If you contrast it with Hunslet, they seem to be struggling when they're bringing the ball away from their own line.
That's the 5th tackle on the halfway line. Fairbank gets to his feet to play the ball, and then Black drills the kick upfield behind 2-4, and 2-4 turns and brings it back. Busy weekend coming up, of course, not least the match at Headingley Carnegie tomorrow evening, Friday, 8 o'clock kickoff for England against the Exiles. And if you want more information on that, 08444 777 113, or go to the RFL's website, therfl.co.uk, to find out more about that. But the Exiles in camp this week in Leeds and quietly preparing for a tilt at the English. And some seasoned campaigners in that Exiles side, seen it all, done it all before, but fancy maybe one last crack at the old enemy. Here's Neil Lowe, Scottish international Neil Lowe, and really good run from him, ricocheting off the Halifax defenders, making some good ground for him, for his side. And then Grimshaw puts the kick in, Barnett puts boot to ball, but it's too strong. It'll be restart on the 20.
Well, Grimshaw takes the ball to the line, puts it on the end of his toe. You have to say, Richie Barnett, if he can pick that ball up, it's a different story. All coming from the run from Neil Lowe, refusing to go down. That go forward we talked about. Here's go forward for Halifax. Mikhail Ezu, strong and straight and hard.
Bezic, not the biggest of guys, Bob Bezic. He's quite slender, but deceptively strong and hard to stop.
Here's Gil
As is
Dudson.
Gil Dudson as well, yeah.
Like the thermal lance scything through the defensive line.
Ball back on the inside to Greenwood. Greenwood is eventually tracked down by Luke Haig. The Hunslet hooker hunting down his man. That's the 5th tackle. Bezic, Jones. Jones stabs the kick through, and that'll be too strong, and Stuart Kane confident enough to let that one go. The coach, by the look of things, not best impressed by that kick.
He doesn't look happy with that, Matt Callum, because he knew that they had numbers and someone needed to push up with Danny Jones. He got the ball, and when he took it to the line, looking into straight to play up, there was nobody with him. They were 10 or 15 metres away from him. Now to give the penalty away. Bob Bezic, as who wasn't squared at the play of the ball.
So Hunslet get the penalty.
They're building in confidence, Hunslet. You can see as they go, they're getting through 22 minutes into this game, 6 points behind.
Go.
Here's John Oakes.
Move, Paul. Go.
And on the field, Paul March, the player coach, into the action.
2. Move, Paul. Go.
So the March twins out there, Paul and David. And here is David. That hip problem doesn't appear to be causing him any grief yet, as he plays the ball. Here's Neil Lowe.
Go back.
Out the back door from Lowe, trying to trigger something, and
Go back.
Paul March was there to seize the ball. That's
play on
knock
that,
on,
Bill.
says the referee. No, the referee
not so
spotted
sure.
that one.
Was that a knock-on by Tommy Hockey?
I don't think it was.
Right, it did.
Well, my initial reaction was that was a knock-on.
I think we've just seen 2 or 3 of the world's ugliest offloads. He's not touched that.
Guys,
A little
You
bit
could
scrappy.
see why the referee might have
Yeah,
thought
whoa,
he'd
whoa.
seen that.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
It's a little
guys.
bit scrappy.
Mate, you got blood.
They're
Mate,
offload.
just come out of the road.
Oh,
Another.
there's another one. Is it Paul Smith?
All right, let's get it.
It is
sorted
Paul
first.
Smith, and he's only just
Time out.
recently on
Give
the
a
field, I
trainer
think.
on.
It's a blood-a-thon.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna get that changed.
Well, he's got to go off now. He's got to change his top as well. Says referee Clint Shara, does it?
Tommy. Oh, really? Am I going to ask him? I'm going to ask him everything now, do I? Come on. Come on.
I think he just catches an elbow from Neil Lowe.
Remember that, Neil?
Well, it wasn't a dirty play from Lowe, was it? He was trying to ride the tackle and he's looking to offload the ball, as he does there to March.
Well, Paul Smith
Come on, guys. What are we
on
doing?
the sidelines.
Right, let's go.
They've got Anthony Bowman out of the dugout, hoping
Time
that,
back up. Fire it in.
well, in case Paul Smith can't get back on, but they're working on him still.
Now, I rate Anthony Bowman. He's been a bit quiet in his career the last season or so. Got some issues and some problems to deal with, but certainly a player with potential.
Mikhail Ezu has put that ball down, and Neil Lowe has picked it up, and this is an opportunity now for Hunslet, taking possession inside the Halifax 20. Here goes Andy Yates. Good hit.
That's tackle 1.
It was Yates, it was Oakes in there, in fact. Ratcliffe David March. Oh, and Clayton just managed to take that one in, and then does well, Dave Clayton. Slipped the first tackle. Hunslet sensing an opportunity here. Here's Paul March. Grimshaw. Stuart Kane chiming into the attack. Barnett finds Paul March. First real test of the Halifax defence here. Neil low and low. Dumped to the ground. 4 tackles gone. Not making much progress so far, Hunslet. Hockey now. He's got a good offload. Hockey. And there it is. Finds Clayton, but Clayton having to reverse to pick that ball up. And then the penalty. They're offside, says the referee. Out on that Halifax left-hand side. Another opportunity for Hunslet.
They've got all the momentum now, Hunslet. Hitting hard, running hard, offloading the ball.
Wayne
asking
Price
some questions.
with the first tilt at the line.
Hands out, Daddy.
Paul March fancying his own chances, but nothing doing for him there. 2 tackles gone. Little shove from Bezic there. Ratcliffe. There's Grimshaw, still going, Danny Grimshaw. Grimshaw is still going. Almost to the line, the standoff. Just short. And the Halifax defence, which has been much improved recently, under test here. Here is Paul March, here's David March now. Trying to slip the net, 4 tackles gone. Grimshaw so close there for the Hunslet Hawks. They're looking for Clayton again. Clayton with the handoff. Clayton trying to get over the line, but he can't. Good defence that time from White. Little grubber kick. David March chasing it, and it's White, it's Greenwood rather, who thumps that one dead. Good pressure from the Hunslet Hawks there.
Well, a tremendous spell from the Hawks. As I said before, look at this from Danny Radcliffe. Keeps his feet, keeps going. Superb work from Danny Grimshaw. Just couldn't quite get over the line.
Stay with Lee. Timer.
So, Hunslet forcing the goal line dropout, but it's a thumping one from Lee Patterson, and Neil Lowe gathers that one and then just meanders back towards the Halifax defenders.
I'm not sure about the technique in that run there, but it does cause an awful lot of problems, Neil Lowe, when he gets the ball, and he's a dangerous player, and the players around him need to follow him, because he's one of the players who looks like something's going to happen off him.
Andy Yates plays the ball. Here's Wayne Price. He can conjure something up with his footwork. Not that time. Bezic again in there to make the tackle. Gil Dudson up high, Bezic down low. Here is Grimshaw now. Stuart Kane. Oh, and a hand in there from Warrenseat. And they'll get the ball back again.
It looks set well, but I just think they're a little bit too flat. Taking it to the line, Danny Grimshaw. Kane puts that pass in, but the defensive line of Halifax is already in the line. Here we see White's a scrum to Hunslet. They'll get it back, and they'll get another crack at the line. But the right-hand defensive edge of Halifax being tested, as is the left. And the big boys in the middle, as we saw with Mikhail Ezu, they've got a job to do as well.
Here is Dave Clayton. Clayton goes around Jones. He's got Price outside him. Oh, and the ball goes to ground. Clayton had opened it up, but then maybe his pass wasn't the best. It was down round the shins. No.
Well,
I beg your pardon. It was great work from Dave Clayton there.
Dave Clayton is causing an awful lot of problems on Halifax's left edge. And Wayne Price, he should have took that ball. It was dipping down a touch, but he still managed to knock it forward with both hands.
Really prolific try scorer during his career, Wayne Price. Normally gobbles up those sort of opportunities, but Dave Clayton has caused Halifax a few problems. More news from the dressing room, from the injury front from Rod.
Well, Halifax might be 6-0 up, Bill, but things not quite going according to plan. We saw Neil Cherry home. He's been patched up and back on, but Paul Smith's down there getting attention for a cut as well, and Matt Callan has also had problems with Jacob Fairbank, who had to go into the changing room for a little bit of treatment as well. Well, Cherry home, how they patched that wound up so quickly, I don't know, but he's heavily bandaged, and just to let you know, when he does come back on, he'll be in a new shirt, not number 10, he'll be in 33.
As long as it's a Halifax shirt. And there is Neil Cherry home, all patched up. Strapped up. Oh, and then Barnett went for the intercept. Referee says play on, and Warrenseat doesn't need a second invitation. And 2-4 makes the tackle.
Halifax.
And Halifax, having been under pressure, are now going to turn the tables, you fancy. Here is Warrensey. Warrensey trying to outwit Neil Lowe. Warrensey with the footwork. Neil Lowe just sort of stood there.
It was a standoff.
Ben Black. Here is Gil Dudson now. Dudson, good offloads. And the pass finds Patterson. Patterson to Bannister.
Move to that!
And Hunslet, having had all that pressure on the Halifax line, now back on their own try line, defending, trying to keep out Michaeli Aizu. They managed to do that. That's 3 tackles gone in this set of 6, so still more pressure to come. Jones, here's Ben Black now. Black finds Barlow. Barlow was looking to offload that. Good job that Grimshaw got himself in the way to make the tackle. Black drifting across the line, looking maybe to straighten it up under his own terms. Finds somebody, and he does. It's Patterson. But there are 4 there to make the tackle for the Hawks.
Hunslet are doing superb in defence.
That's the 5th tackle. Bezic, Black now. Black, crossfield kick. It's ricochets. Play on, says the referee. So they do.
Warrensey's coming.
And Grimshaw, can he go all the way? Or can Warrensey or White get him? Neither. But they'll surely come back to see what the call is there, or will they? Clint Sherratt.
I don't think so,
Wants
Bill.
the try. And out of nothing, Danny Grimshaw seizing on that ricochet. And he had the pace to beat 2 of the fastest players in the championship, Warrensey and White. And Hunslet have got what they've deserved. They've been battering away at that Halifax line. They were even further away this time.
Well, Bill, Hunslet deserved this for the defensive effort that they've put in. They've been absolutely resolute in the opening 25-30 minutes of this game. They've turned up for one another. They've been inside, conscious, and that's just a simple charge down. Danny Grimshaw only has one thing in his mind: I'm going to score this try. And as you said, 2 of the fastest players on this pitch, they can't catch him.
He's got tries in the last 3 games now, has Danny Grimshaw, including one in their last victory, in fact, the game against York, his old club. And here's another ex-York man, Danny Ratcliffe, to level the scores. An unlikely scenario here. 6 points apiece. And Hunslet giving Brian Noble and the Halifax contingent a bit to think about here.
Well, some fans watching, I might think that that was knocked on by March, but it wasn't. He's allowed to charge the ball down, and as long as Grimshaw was stood behind him, that was a fair try. He's every right to do that. And Danny Grimshaw, he comes from an onside position, so that was good play from March, putting Halifax under pressure.
Half an hour gone here. And Hunslet, can lightning strike twice for them? Of course, they've won here against really unlikely odds in the Northern Rail Cup, despite having Richard Chapman sent off. A 42-36 victory last year in the Cup. A rare win for them against Halifax, but the 6-all here.
Well, Tez made a really good point that Hunslet need to control the speed of the play of the ball. Neil Lowe catches it from the kickoff, hits and spins and bumps a little bit, plays his ball quicker than the defenders can get set, and then the dummy half jumps out and a penalty comes from that. The normal format is penalty, penalty, try.
Here is Neil Lowe. Paul March. Ratcliffe, Grimshaw now. Grimshaw, short ball for John Oakes.
They're too flat again.
Flat?
They're too flat, not deep enough.
Yates, that's a good strong run from him, but he's lost the ball. And it was Anthony Bowman who came up with him. Bowman back in the side, his first appearance of the season. He's had 1 or 2 off-the-field issues to resolve. There's the steal. He dragged the ball out of the grasp of Andy Yates.
Do you know what? That's not a bad effort, is it? When someone who's twice the size of you is running at you, and you come up with the ball, Bowman, near your try line, that's a big play, that. If it didn't come off, that could have led to a try for Hunslet and Andy Yates.
Bowman back in the side, and incidentally, the other Halifax news today is that Graham Holroyd has retired again. Here's Michaeli Izu. I think this time it's for good. Retired at the end of last season after the grand final, but was around to give it one more go when needed this season, but apparently that is it now. 2-4 under pressure, and Nash has got him on his back, and Black has got the follow-up. Has he got the try? The tackle from Dylan Nash, forcing the ball loose from Dennis Toofer's grasp. And Ben Black was Johnny on the spot there. The ball came loose and Black was first to react.
Well, we need to see whether they're onside first. You'd have to think from the pitch shading, they're offside. Is there any interference here? 2-4 doesn't look comfortable when he catches it. Dylan Nash catches him and he throws it back. Probably feels that the line is just above him. I think this is a try. Ben Black nicks the washing off the line for Hunslet.
Gets his fourth try of the season, and Dennis Toofer was trying to do the best thing for his side. He thought he was, because he was heading for the sidelines, but all he did was hand it on a plate to Ben Black.
Well, this is just about attitude. Stay onside, stay in the picture, go where the action is. It's a good shot from Dylan Nash. Trying to force him off the island. You're absolutely right. Dennis Toofer feels that he's going to get pushed off. Tries to possibly tip it back to one of his teammates. Not having a tremendous amount of vision on that. Just a pass and hope, and Ben Black gets the valuable try for the Halifax side.
And Danny Jones from way out wide. Can he land this one? He's pushed it wide of the posts. And Halifax ahead by 10 points to 6.
We look for that. We look for that.
But you've got to credit Dylan Nash there. He just pulls back. He waits for 2-4 to catch this ball. He's driving him into touch. The ball comes free. And Ben Black, he was just chasing up, looking for what scraps he could pick up from that play.
Let's not forget, Tez, he kicked that ball as well.
Yep.
Kick and lead. Good attitude showed from the Halifax side. Not quite as impressive as we watched them last week against Lee, but just chipping away at a very determined Hunslet side.
Gil Dudson. The crowd like what they've seen of the young Welshman. Former South Wales Scorpion, was in the Crusaders side at the start of the campaign, Dudson, and must be hoping that this spell at Halifax will maybe bolster his chances of making the Wales squad for the Four Nations come the end of the season. Needed to be in action, and he is here at Halifax. Here's Michaeli Izu. You haven't stopped me, he says. I'm still going.
Well, he's caused an awful lot of problems, Michaeli Izu, with his goal forward. All his teammates are feeding. They're benefiting off the back of that.
Last few minutes of this first half, and Halifax trying to make their superiority tell here. Black, it went backwards, says the referee, and Michaeli Izu picks it up, swats aside the first challenge of Oakes.
Move, Tommy, 5 and rest.
On the last, and Jones, little kick comes in, Kane gathers it, and then the Halifax defenders gather the Hawks full back. Just gets his bearings.
Well, he does well, Stuart Kane, to stay in the field of play. He was under pressure from Stephen Bannister. As soon as he caught that ball, he knew that he had to go to ground. Otherwise, it would have been forced behind his own try line, forcing the goal line dropout.
Move, Sam!
Stuart Kane, though, picked up a knock in that situation. Got to his feet a little bit slowly.
I think I read his lips. I think he said dead leg. So he must have caught a knee in the thigh around that running area.
Well, half-time approaching. They'll surely be telling him just to ride out the storm. The kick from David March straight into the arms of Paul White, and then White looking to run this one back.
It was a more confident catch. They've withstood the pressure that Hunslet have put them under. Even though they've surrendered that try, it was a long-range try at that.
Good work from Greenwood, looking to link up with somebody now. Still going, though, the full-back. Great run from Miles Greenwood.
The tremendous return from Miles Greenwood, 40 metres made there.
Warranty now, little skip from him. And obstruction is the call from the referee.
Did he take anybody out?
He ran behind, he ran through, mate.
Ran behind his own player. Here we go, Warranty. There's no one near, there's nobody anywhere near him.
Back here, guys, back here! Go!
Well, that's the call from referee Clint Sharrod. Black was causing an obstruction.
Move, Steve! One, hold, wait!
So,
go!
Hunslet. Well, this has been a commendable performance from them all, and then the knock-on from Grimshaw. He was looking upfield as that ball dipped by his toes. Halifax looking to pack the scrum quickly. 30 seconds to go in this first half. Referee eventually stops the clock. There's the knock-on from Grimshaw.
That ball just being scooped to the next player along. Not much happening there, and the last pass, you're right, Bill, very low, below the knees, and Danny Grimshaw just can't bend down far enough. And you wouldn't put it past Halifax to just nick a try before half-time.
Hold on, guys, hold on. Bob, you've got blood coming out here. You have to go up. You have to
Bob Bezick's got blood coming out now.
No. Come on, you either get that jersey changed. Someone else get your head in if you want to keep going.
Another player heading for the blood bin. Well, his shirt that's the problem.
Hurry up!
That's not going to do the trick.
Tie back on!
He's not going to see much more of the first half, Bob Bezick, but they might not need him.
Help! Move!
Bezick still standing on the sidelines as play continues with his team on the attack with Gil Dudson. Dudson driving it in, legs driving.
I think Damien Ball looked at Bob Bezick then and said, I'm not washing it.
Hold. Step away, that's it. Go!
Ben Black, scorer of the last try as the hooter sounds. Jones gets the ball away again. They try the spectacular pass. It's still alive. Going backwards with Ben Black now. Black.
It'll be a chip.
Will it? Or will it? It's going to be nothing in the end. Ben Black running out of options off the field. And that's the end of the first 40 here. And Halifax, expected to really go to town against the struggling Hunslet Hawks, have found Paul March's men a much tougher prospect as Hunslet gather